Yeah, so I'm Jay from Mega J Retro. Guys, you can definitely come check me out on YouTube. Thank you again, Junkman, for having me for tonight. This is going to be a lot of fun.
I think so. So what we're going to do, the people out there watching, we're going to do a top 10. We'll pick the best 90s figures. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I do this list next week, it'd probably be totally different. So although this is my top 10 that I picked, I probably could add and take off that at any time. But it's going to be fun. I don't talk 90s that much. Usually I'm 70s and 80s. So it's fun going through some of these 90s toys.
Honestly, I'm going to be straight up honest with you, Junkman. I had to actually think. I had to think about what I wanted to put on this list. I seriously did, because there's just so many good toys out there. And I was doing the college thing. So around that time, I wasn't really super collecting. But then when I got the itch to actually get really into it, that's when I started getting some of these real good action figures. And yeah, this list comes from that. So yeah, and you're right, it can change at any time. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, and 90s really kicked off that collector's boom. So you really got some really good details. Wasn't just a cheap looking toy. They really put some detail in them in the 90s. So
yeah, we can get into that all day long, but I'm pretty sure that we're going to be talking about that all tonight. So it's going to be great.
I'm sure. And I looked over, I don't know his number one or anything, but I looked over his list so I could pull some pictures, and you've got some obscure stuff on there. And it kind of made me think, okay, let me not just do 10 Star Wars figures. Let me change this up a little bit.
You know what? It's just because, as I said, I started off with anime. And with anime, the thing about that is that it gives a little, they have more advanced toys in Japan. Like for the longest time, they had way more advanced toys in Japan, even from back in the day, because I was collecting like Voltron and all those other things, and you could tell the difference in the technology at the time. But things change, so that's basically where we are, and that's how my '90s collection came to be. So glad I surprised you a little bit, though.
Something I can't even pronounce.
I'll help you out there.
Okay. Well, we're going to start with your number 10. We'll let you go first, and as soon as you tell me, I'll pull a picture up, which might be a little slow getting a picture up because it's not really good about pulling pictures up, but we'll edit around that.
That's okay. This one will be easier for you to pull up. So, this of course is the top 10 action figures of the 90s, and I want to thank Junkman again for inviting me. So today, my top 10 list is kind of interesting, as I said, but the thing is, I'm an 80s kid, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out in the 80s, but some of their best figures came out in the 90s. And my number 10 pick.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say, no.
My number 10 pick, it was actually the Playmates Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutating Michelangelo.
Okay.
Seriously, that was it combined my love of Transformers and Ninja Turtles into one toy. It was absolutely beautiful.
There we go, right there. Yep. Yeah. Like I told you, I don't even remember this line. I was surprised when you said this one. I was like, I kind of want to do a video about it now.
So this one actually is the re-released version, sometime in the mid 2000s.
Oh, I pulled the wrong one, huh?
That's okay. It's the same idea, right? But at the same time, it's the same idea. So it's still the same thing. They just you know the way Playmates work.
Yeah.
You know their game. They keep re-releasing them every few years. But this is exactly what it was. I don't think the original one came with such a big can of ooze, but it's exactly the same thing. Michelangelo here, he's like a transformer. His shell opens up, and you can flip all of his parts, and he literally transforms from a regular turtle with a cute little face into a fighting Michelangelo. And actually, this newer version here, it's a little bit better proportioned because his body in the original one was kind of like fat. But I loved it all the same. I love the idea that you could transform a Ninja Turtle transform a turtle into a Ninja Turtle just like Transformers. So I loved it. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I guess they did all four of them.
Yeah, they had all four of them. They even had an obscure one, which is harder to get. April O'Neil turned into a Catwoman because of one of the episodes. So that was
really?
Yeah, it was a lot.
I might have to go look that one up. That sounds interesting too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go with my number 10. Let me find the picture real quick.
I'm excited.
Oh, there's one. Okay. Thought it was going to make people mad. The next one's probably going to make people mad. That's a little tease at my 9. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to go with this line. I don't hear much about Mars Attacks Alien. I think they did really good with this line. It looks a lot like the alien in the movie. It talks, and that's always a good little feature. Just I the movie didn't get much love. The figure line really didn't get much love. I wish they did more of the humans. They did the Spy Girl. I almost put her on here.
Always.
But it doesn't get any love. So I said, I got to throw this on here, at least at a number 10. Because, I mean, it's good details, and they had some good looking aliens.
Yeah. You know what? It was, who was it? Tim Burton, I think?
Yeah, Tim Burton.
Yeah, it was Tim Burton's, what's it called? His love letter to those 70s, alien films, right? Like It Came from Outer Space and Last Day on the Earth, right? So it was amazing because, when he first comes down, you can't see his face, right? And then all of a sudden he reveals himself and starts shooting everybody. It's a great film. I love the characters. Oh my gosh. And this, and it's great to see, this, I didn't even know. I'm not going to be honest. I did not even know that they released these action figures. That's awesome.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah. They did. The Spy Girl looks really good. But I wish they did some of the human characters and not just the aliens. But
so is the Spy Girl the one with the Bride of Frankenstein thing, or is that
like the big head?
Yep.
Yeah,
awesome, excellent, wow,
that's pretty cool. And the button, you push it once and it does the alien, the knack like in the movie.
And
you push it again and it's translated and it says,
"Oh, really?
Take me to your leader" or something. Yeah,
that is so cool. Wow.
Yeah, so it's a pretty cool figure line.
Yeah, he looks great.
Okay, well, that's my number 10. Now we're at the number 9.
All right, so I'm going first?
Yeah.
All right. So, honestly, today we take this for granted. We're all, into the 3D animations and things like that, lots of Disney cartoons. But you know what? The first one that started off, the first one that really blew our socks off in terms of 3D animation was, of course, Pixar's Toy Story. And I'd be a fool not to pick this one in my top 10. It is, of course, the Thinkway Toys Talking Buzz Lightyear. Oh my gosh, this toy was absolutely amazing. Looks exactly like he did in the cartoon. You know what I mean? Like, and he does everything the cartoon did. He says all the phrases that he was saying in the movie. So why wouldn't any kid want to get this? And it's funny because they made a really big joke about that in the second film about not having enough on the shelves, and it's actually true. Retailers could not keep this for Christmas. The retailers could not keep this on the shelves. It was flying off, as you probably know, Junkman.
Yeah,
absolutely nuts.
And this is one of the ones on your list. When I first saw it, I said it's so iconic. I kind of wish it was on my list just because, it was such a huge movie in the 90s, and that looks just like you said, just like from the movie. The box and everything looks about the same.
Yeah, he's doing the people's eyebrow. Around the same time that The Rock was doing it, and it was just one of those things. So
I see that now, and he had a lot of features. I know he says a lot of things. His wings expand.
That's right.
I remember that. My niece had one.
Yeah, he did not have the karate chop. That they couldn't do that one, unfortunately, because of the electronics were already inside. So he could not do the chop. That was the only thing that he couldn't do. But other than that, his legs bent. He could do some limited articulation. The canopy didn't do the whoosh. It doesn't do that. But everything
does open, right? It does
open. You can see it right there. It does open.
Yeah, I thought. Yes, I was looking. I thought it did.
But in the movie, Woody goes, "It does the whoosh thing." You're right, and that's not something that the toy does. But other than that, it was so great. Thinkway, man, bravo. You know what I mean? And other manufacturers have literally copied this version multiple times afterwards. So it's great.
Yeah, it's a great looking figure for sure. And the Woody was nice looking too. They did Woody.
He was great. But you know what? I'm into giant robots, Japanese stuff, right? So when I saw a talking, and I'm into electronics, so when I saw a talking Buzz Lightyear from the movie, I was like, no, that's it. I gotta get.
You gotta have it.
It took me forever. Yeah, I could. Forever it took me.
It's pretty cool. Let me. Okay, this is my controversial one, probably.
Ooh, here we go.
Number 9. Let me pull it up here. This is from the Aliens line, which was a good Kenner line in the early 90s. And this is Bishop. And he gets a lot of hate because he doesn't look like he does in the movie. But if I'm going by just a cool looking figure, I'm going to have to pick this figure here because it comes apart. That's pretty little neat. I like the metal in his face. And again, I know it's not like the movie. I know they kind of made their own looking Bishop. It doesn't look anything like Bishop, but it's just a fun toy. He's got that big old cannon gun right there, and
Yeah.
you can actually feed the bullets through it and everything. So
yeah. It's got the minigun. It's got the bullets. What is that? A grappling hook? Is that another attachment there? I can't. Or is that just a regular gun?
I think it's another gun if I remember right.
Yeah, and he's got stickers too, that's always cool.
Hey, that's always.
Yeah, that's always cool. And you know what?
Trying to put those little stickers on that little figure is not easy. Trust me.
Absolutely. You know what? I've never ever been able to get stickers on straight. It's always been a little bit off, and your ADD kicks in. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. But you know what? I know what you're saying. Controversial. I mean, R-rated movies for kids. It's always been the thing. Ever since the first Alien movie. Very first R-rated toy, right? Way back in the like, I believe it was the early 80s, right? It was crazy. And then having this guy, Bishop never even held a gun. Actually, he gave the gun back. Right?
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah. So, and I wish I had a picture of the back of the car because it's got the original actor, and they airbrushed the middle parts on his face like the figure has, and it looks horrible. But when he came out, everybody was hating on it, and I was like, I think it looks pretty badass. So.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great.
I think I got two of them, one to keep on card and one to open.
Oh,
so.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful. So I know some people's gonna be like, "Oh, that Bishop sucks." But... Okay, well, where are we at? Number 8.
We are at number 8 now. Yeah. So for number 8, guys, this hit the airwaves, and as I said, I started my channel off as an anime channel. I was huge into anime in the 90s. But something else that hit the airwaves, which was just absolutely taking everything by storm, was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers imported from Japan. And as a kid, I was like, "What am I watching here?" I'm watching teenagers from California, and they're pretending to be Japanese people from Japan, and you could tell because the footage was different. But I didn't care. I loved it, and I loved the mecha that was in it. The giant robots. But when this guy hit the screen, I just blew my mind entirely. I was literally watching Mecha Godzilla on screen, and when he was fighting all these guys, it was just great. So my number 8 pick is Bandai's Power Rangers, Dragonzord, and Green Ranger 2-pack. But if it had to be just the Dragonzord alone, is just my huge pick. It's just amazing. Oh my gosh, there he is. The 2-pack is the best one. You got to get it. I know it's a little bit of cheating. I know it's two figures in one.
Yeah.
But seriously, look at this thing. Come on, seriously, look at this thing. This is incredible. Like he has, like, obviously he's got the lights and sound feature. He comes with the Green Ranger, and the flute does a little bit of it does a little flute sound, and it activates the Dragonzord. Just a great figure all around. Again, I'm doing a lot of tech toys here. That's the thing. But seriously, the packaging is great. It's everything about it just blows my mind. Just beautiful toy. Just absolutely.
Well, the tech toys make them fun. They make them more than just something to display or something to put up.
Absolutely, but they break just as easily.
Yeah. So you were pretty young in the 90s. 20.
I was in 91. I was entering college around 91. So that's no. What am I talking about? Oh, what am I talking about? No. 91. I was in my third year of high school, something like that. I was very young. I was about to
say because I graduated in 93. So
yeah.
But to me, because I think I was too old for Power Rangers, I was like, this looks horrible. But in the late 70s, I grew up on Space Giants. I don't know if you know Space Giants, which is probably the 90s version of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I guess I can see. Because anybody that my dad would never watch, he would have thought the Space Giants was horrible. And it's kind of horrible, but it's fun.
Every generation has its camp. Okay, every generation has its campy, sort of cheesy things, right? I mean, like, just watching the original Godzilla, right, all the way back when. You know what I mean? Like, it was black and white. It was a whole bunch of guys in rubber suits, but that's exactly what Power Rangers was. Power Rangers was a television version of Godzilla, but they introduced big robots. They introduced transforming robots. It was just a kid's dream. That's what it was. And I was technically too old for Power Rangers, but I didn't care. I just loved watching these guys go to crazy. And again, I'm seeing 20-year-olds pretending to be teenagers, and going on about their day in California. Like, and I don't live in California. I live in Canada, so it's cold up here.
So it's kind of cool seeing that. Well, this is another one when I saw. I've never seen it before, and I was like, When I think Power Ranger, I think the figure, and I never seen this. I thought Godzilla. I was like, that's pretty badass too. That would be kind of cool to have, especially as a kid. I would have loved it as a kid.
Absolutely,
because it looks like it does a lot of stuff.
It transforms. It actually transforms. Yeah, it transforms to join up with the Megazord. So you have like 4 toys in one. It's crazy.
No, that's always good when you got more than one. Just it does more than one thing.
Yeah, the Japanese did a lot of cool stuff back then.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Okay, so we're on 8, right?
Yeah, we are on 8. Yeah.
Okay, this one's kind of cheating too, like you had.
It's your show. You can do what you want.
Yeah, this is cool. Okay, this one's cool. I think the figure looks nice, but you can buy an accessory to go with it, and I think you need them both for it to really look the best. So let me pull this up here. This is Speed Racer.
Oh,
the Speed. Okay, Speed Racer and
no Speed Racer.
Oh. This is why it's cheating, because you have to have the car. The details of this car is amazing.
Yeah.
So
the Mach 5. What's Speed Racer without the Mach 5?
Yeah, you got it. I got Trixie in there, and I got look at in the back of it.
There he is. There's a monkey.
I got the monkey and the boy.
That's hilarious. Oh, the boy's in there too. That's awesome.
Yeah, they're both.
Oh yeah. I can see
you
him.
Got the boy, and you got.
They're hiding in the back.
Oh no!
Oh geez, they're falling all over the place.
And
they're hiding in the back like they always do. You get into trouble.
Yeah, and it does a lot. I mean, it's got some little stands too, so you can stand it up.
Yeah.
But it's starting to turn yellow.
Oh, that happens.
But I was like, okay, I want to put the car on it, but we're doing action figures. But I saw you not to get ahead. I saw you had kind of a car related thing on yours, and I said, okay, that's my excuse.
To
put Speed Racer on.
It's all good.
I'm gonna count the figure, but you have to have the car if you got.
Yeah, it's all good. You know what? At the end of the day. For me, it was the top 10 toys because I could honestly, there's a reason why. Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute, but there's a reason why that happened.
Well, I don't think we ever specified, but now that I think about it, toys would have been better because
it's all good.
Just figures.
Yeah, but you know what? Speed's a great choice. I remember watching it in reruns when I was a kid, and it was violent, man. Like, honestly, I'm watching it. I'm like, those are Tommy guns. People are dying. Like, I was like, those aren't robots. What is that?
They would run a car off the road and the car would explode.
Yeah, it would explode. It's crazy. Yeah, but no, great Japanese animation. So, great cartoon, great anime. And in Japan, it's called Mach 5 Go Go Go. So it's a really great series. So awesome stuff. Excellent choice. He comes with a lot of accessories, doesn't he? He comes
with a helmet. He comes with some 2 trophies, a stand to put him on.
That is, and a gun, gun. In the you know what, DC, pick up some pointers here. There's a gun here. Like, come on.
Yeah, you can come with the guns, and the whole line. I mean, it's got the dad, it's got Trixie, of course, it's got Racer X.
Yep, Racer X.
Everybody you need. The inspector guy, I can't remember his name right now. The inspector guy. And I think they even did a series 2. But there's some nice looking figures from the toy company. I don't really know that much about. I can't remember the name of it now, and I can't read that. That's too small to try to read.
It looks amazing. Awesome. Yeah. Excellent pick. 100%.
Okay.
All right. So I guess I'll take on number 7. For number 7, honestly, I've always been a Transformers fan. Always have been, especially when it came out in early 1984, I think it was. Yeah. And love Transformers. Then they got into something weird. Like anything, TV drops off. And it was gone for the longest time. And I remember thinking to myself, man, where's Transformers? Then back in the 90s, little company here in Toronto, Canada, they started animating this crazy series called Beasties. Now, we call it Beasties here, but everywhere else in the world, they were called Beast Wars. And it was a Transformers series. And I remember watching that version of the Transformers, and I was like, it's kind of cool. It's kind of not. Again, we just came from Toy Story. We were getting like this cool new 3D animation world. And I was like, all right, that's cool. But then they got to season 2 and season 3. And they started going back to Cybertron and everything like that. And right when they started doing that, they created what they call the Transmetals. And this figure blew me away when I first saw it. I just could not believe what I was seeing. It really did look exactly like it did on television screen. Yeah, Transformers created the Transmetals 2 Megatron Dragon. Oh my gosh. Beast Wars Transformers. Oh, I'm almost certain this came from Japan somewhere.
I think so too. Yeah.
It was crazy. It was crazy. It looks exactly like it did in the cartoon. It transformed pretty much like it did in the cartoon, and you know what? It looked amazing. The very first versions, they're back in stores now if you want to look for them. The very first versions of the Beast Wars, they were primitive, man. They just folded over, and they were like really, really, they were really chunky and really clunky looking. This one took it to a whole nother level. Like, this one had double elbow joints. It had manipulation aspects. Everything about this was over the top. It was crazy. This is what I call the very first new wave of Transformers, the new generation of Transformers, and I could not believe this. And it was impossible to find. I never found one. My friend Darwin, he found one, and I had to share it with him because there, and I'm already like practically 20 years old at this point. Like I'm getting up there, and I'm still playing, with little toys like this. But you know what? I didn't care. I loved it. It was amazing. It was just absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, that's what it is. Have you ever heard of this, Junkman? I guess
I've heard of Beast Wars. Like you said, the kind of people didn't like it when they came out, but this is the first time. This is another one you pulled off. I never even seen. I didn't know there was a Transformer Beast War. I've never even seen this thing. But I was like,
it took a year for this to come out here in North America. It took a year. In Japan, they had it for a year, and that's how my friend Darwin got it. He imported it from Japan at the time. There was no Amazon.co.
Oh, that's in the 90s too.
There was nothing like that. He had to call somebody over there, tell them, "Hey, can you import this for me?" And they said, "Yeah, it'll be this much yen." And he's like, "How much is yen?" And we don't. It's not like the internet right now. We don't have those calculator converters. It just doesn't happen. So seeing this in person when it first came out, like literally a year before it came out here in North America, blew people's minds. It was crazy.
I don't remember seeing it when it did come to North America. I mean, I might have just forgotten about it, but it must have been hard to find.
It was for us exclusive, I think I remember.
Okay.
I think
I was all over the toy stores in the 90s, and they didn't. I was like, I would like to see it. Was it it transforms?
Yeah, it does.
What's it turn into?
Okay, if you look at the corner, that is Megatron there. You can see his face. I don't know where you found it, but if you can just find the other picture, but that's basically there.
Okay, I can see now that I'm zooming in. It looks like a red blob. I zoomed in.
I know it's kind of weird because I mean he is transformed, but at the same time, his arm becomes the dragon's head. You know what I mean? It's really cool. It's really
right.
Right. It. Trust me. You have to see it in person. It's just that does not do it justice. You have to see it in person. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean it looks pretty awesome. It looks complicated to make too, and then people design those Transformers. Man.
Oh, so basically, these versions of Transformers were the very this came a little bit. I think it was a little bit after this. They started creating the masterpiece line of Transformers, and they became so complex, but started looking like real robots. Instead of just these little like kind of looking robots, which can transform into cars. No, these look like real robots, almost out of the cartoon. So this was the experiment that they did with all the manipulation joints, all the double joints, the double hinges, and in a lot of ways, today's action figures, where you have your double elbow, your double knees, your swivel point at the ankles. Those all came from experiments like this in Transformers. So awesome stuff.
I can't imagine a Kia transforming that thing though. It looks complicated.
I think it's like 31 or 41 steps. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Back today when you could do it in 2 steps, it was great.
Really? I couldn't even transform a normal one sometimes.
It's all fun. It's all good.
I always felt like it was going to break, and then I would stop myself.
That can't happen. Happens a lot.
Especially when they were new and they were that tight when you went to move the joint. And you're like, I'm going to break it. Just don't feel right.
It's like a NECA figure.
Might be broken the box.
Pretty much. Especially up here in Canada. It gets cold, and it just freezes, and just it's already snapped.
Man, I hadn't heard that one.
Yep.
Okay, we're at number 8, right?
We're at number 7. We're number 7.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, here's one that again they don't get much love. We talked about, and it's mostly on here as a personal reason because I want to get it for myself. And every time I look on eBay, it goes for about $100, and I say I'm not paying $100 for a cartoon figure based on a character from Space Ghost, and we're talking Brak. because I love Brak. I fell in love when he had his own show, and I love watching it. And I didn't even know in the 90s they made the figure, so I don't know if that counts. That I didn't know in the 90s, but I was like, I've got to have this. I can't believe it goes for around over $100.
Oh yeah,
I cannot find it. Even loose, it goes for a lot.
Yeah.
Let me zoom in on that a little bit. Yeah. I mean, it's a really good looking, detailed. If you're into Space Ghost or Brak, and I love Brak. And I could never. They did another series of him. I could never find him, and I could find the dad and the mom, which is pretty cool. You know, his dad's about this big.
Yeah.
And his mom's regular size. So that was always come with the tables on. You know, his figure came with a table, but I got to throw this one on here just maybe somebody will be like, I got one I don't want.
That would be great. Yeah, no, Space Ghost, you know, with what was it, Adult Swim?
Yeah,
they, you know, people who hadn't because again, Space Ghost was back in the 70s and early 80s, and you know, it was part of Hanna-Barbera's superhero line, right? Because they just come off of doing all the animations for DC. Right, so you know they started making their own cartoons, right? With their own copyrighted heroes, right? The Herculoids, right, and Space Ghost, and Captain Caveman. You know, it was all great stuff. So yeah, definitely, he's a great looking character. I love the fact that the arms can swap out. You know, it's got to be one of the earlier figures that could do that. So yeah, he's looking great. I love that character. Awesome stuff. Wow.
And it was one of those in the 90s where, you know, I hadn't thought about Space Ghost in years, and there it's 3:00 in the morning. I'm like, am I high or are they high? What is going on? He's got a talk show, and then it was just so odd.
Yeah. Space Ghost is Harvey Birdman was the lawyer.
I love the Harvey Birdman. Yeah, I love that one. Then they did the one. What was the one with they were underwater in a boat the whole time, or a lot of time. I want to say Sequest, not Sequest.
Yeah, Sequest. It was
Sequest?
Was it Johnny Quest or was it Sequest?
I don't know. Somebody have to let us know in the comments. Sequest was that live action show, though, wasn't it? With
Sequest was a live action show. Johnny Quest was all over the
cartoon they took from like the 60s and made into
a. That's true. They did.
I can't remember what it was. It was See Something. And there was like a team of people in the water, but somebody let me know in the comments. Yeah, I'm sure as soon as I read in the comments, I'll be like, "Oh yeah."
It always happens. All right, so
where are we? Okay, it's gonna bother me. Okay, where are we at? Number 6.
We're on number 6 right now, and so honestly, I have to say it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ruled my life. Like seriously, after the in the 90s, after the movie had come out, you know, the live action movie, I was still hungry for Turtles all the time, and this one was just a dream, toy. Obviously, in the 80s, I don't think that they could have afforded to do this because Playmates was just taking a risk on the Turtles because, you know, it's an unknown property. Turned out to be a multi-billion-dollar industry afterwards. I think billion is a stretch, but a multi-million-dollar industry. And yeah, when they finally brought this out, it was in the 90s. Well past this time, but still, I think everybody loved it. And it was not that easy to get either. But yeah, my number 6 pick is, of course, the Krang body Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figure. Holy crap. This thing was gigantic. All right, this thing was gigantic. Krang had been released in the 80s version in 1989, something like that. So he was already a full-size figure. He had this walker. Actually, it's included right there, the walker on the other side there. But yeah, this was the full version. He was huge. He was absolutely gigantic. He could fight with the turtles. Couldn't pick them up like he did in the cartoon, but comes with a Mauser, an actual detached Mauser. And again, just massive first had a whole bunch of different accessories. He was just amazing. Like seriously, he literally completed the collection, the entire first full season set. It was just gorgeous. Love this character. Finally came out. This is incredible.
Did I pull the right picture?
This one I think is
two of them came up, and I couldn't tell.
This is the right figure, but it could be the re-released version. But that's fine. It's the exact same thing.
Okay. So, they both look like the card was a little different. That was all.
Yeah, exactly.
I could tell.
But this is. I mean, like this was a great figure here. This is like just beautiful. Like honestly, could not get enough of this guy. Were you a big Turtles fan, Junkman?
Never seen it. People are surprised all the time when I say I've never. I mean, this figure here, you again surprised me because I don't watch Turtles, but I think I was just a little too old when it hit. I was just getting out, I was like, oh, cartoons. It's not that, against Ninja Turtles. Like, I think it just what it hit by 87 when it really popped big.
Yeah. It was around 1980, 1988, 1989. I think 87
Yeah,
was
see,
when
by
we-
then I was
Yep.
in high school and,
Yeah.
and wasn't thinking toys. So
It's all good. It's all good.
yeah, but
This was like, but it became a multi-million dollar industry. You know what I mean? Came from underground comics. You know, Eastman and Laird, two young guys who were just like, you know, doodling and making comics in their basement, and they just came out with this killer idea. And honestly, if it wasn't for Playmates, though, you know, it would not have gone anywhere. Playmates was the reason why it hit off big, because after Playmates got a hold of it, they wanted to make a TV series out of it. And after the TV series, it was all over everything.
Did the toys come before the cartoon?
The toys technically did come before the cartoon. That's why they don't actually look like them. Like Donatello's brown, Raphael's a darker shade of green. You know, each of the turtles has a slightly different color, right?
Yeah,
and that's where they started putting on the different color bandanas. That's how you could tell them apart as kids. And they translated that into the cartoon, and that's how that came out. So, but the cartoon, they're not different colors either; they're all the same color.
right.
So, awesome.
Yeah, like I said, I know Ninja Turtles because you know I was looking at toy magazines. I was looking to see what was out. If anything was hot, I was trying to buy it. And you blew my mind on this one. So I've never even seen that before. I don't think I've ever seen that character.
If whoever doesn't know about Ninja Turtles, where have they been living on a desert island? Like everybody at least knows what a Ninja Turtle is, right? So
yeah, and I thought I know the rat guy, and I know Ninja Turtle when I see him. You know, I know that's from Ninja Turtles, but again, that one kind of I was like, I don't remember that one. So you did blow my mind on that one.
He looks
again. You blew my mind again. So I think I asked you again, number 6, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay, this one here is from McFarlane. I tried to not do the same toy company or the same toy line, but McFarlane comes up on my list more than once. I think
it's pretty obvious why. I mean, like let's be perfectly honest. It's
yeah, and
they changed the North American game. They really did.
They changed everything in the 90s. And this one here, I be honest, it was one of those things. It was hard to find. I didn't know much about the character. I think I seen. I'll go ahead and pull it up. We're talking Maxx.
Oh,
and I didn't know much about the cartoon or the comics.
Yeah,
but it was hot to find right then, so I bought it. And I remember opening. I just fell in love with it. I love the little smiley guy. I forget their names now. Little head guys, and it was just so detailed and so just a one. Based on the cartoon, looks just like the cartoons, just like the comics. So they made it really, really stand out. Great looking figure. And it was huge. Like you said, the other one, it was huge, big and bulky, but it just looked on a shelf with other toys. It really stood out and looked amazing.
You know, the 90s is where Image Comics really made their mark. And, you know, the Maxx was not part of Image, but it was an independent label. And obviously Todd McFarlane's looking at around the time, Todd's Toys, you know what I mean? Like Todd McFarlane, they're looking for anything to license, and you know, comics wise anyway, or anything, right? So yeah, when it came down to Spawn and the Maxx, I think they did a crossover. I think that's the reason why that happened. But the Maxx is a great comic book series. You know, it follows a guy who lives in the real world, but you know, he's not a superhero. At least it's not supposed to be. He's just some dude who you know. He's got a girlfriend. He's got a regular life, but when he goes to sleep, he starts dreaming and living a different life in his dreams. You know what I mean? He's a superhero there. It's like the wilderness. His girlfriend is a cave woman. It's just absolutely off the wall.
It's off the wall, but I loved it.
Beautiful stuff. Oh yeah. So you just shocked me. I did not know that this character came out with Spawn. That's crazy. I had no idea that was a thing. Wow.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't remember why it was linked to Spawn, because I can't remember. Maybe they did a team up or something. I can't remember.
I think they did. I think they did have like one. Again, he dreams, right? It's a weird thing where, and you know, Spawn's metaphysical, right? So I think they just did that one thing where they had this like a side comic, and it was more of a joke than anything else. But you know, Maxx basically is dreaming. He sees Spawn, and you know, he's like, "Oh God, what the hell was that?" And then he wakes up, and she's, you know, his girlfriend's like stopping, and he's like, "Go back to work or whatever." You know, it's just one of those crazy, funky things.
Yeah,
no. Here, this version is him in his dream. He's got the headdress.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
On the headdress,
he looks crazy.
And around the same time, MTV was doing had an animated series. So McFarlane probably said, "Hey, throw them in the spawn line, make some extra money there.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the way it works, right? It's just, again, great figure. Love the fact you brought that up. That blows my mind.
And honestly, that's one I kind of forgot about till I was looking up 90 toys. I was like, oh, I got to have this on here because I love this thing when it came out.
It's like you said, like the list will change because all of a sudden you remember something. You're like, oh my god, oh my gosh, and it's crazy.
Yeah, so definitely.
We're on number 5.
And hold on, not yet.
we're not on number 5.
We're on 5. We're on 5. Hold on, bro.
That's right. Sorry about.
So we're gonna do the top 5 on Jay's channel. So this is where we put to be continued, and we tease the audience to go over to Jay's channel. I'll have a link in the description below so you can get to his channel real fast and find his video. And we'll do the top 5 there.
Yeah, I got too excited, so sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay. So head over to Jay's channel, top 5, and I want to thank you for coming on. Tell them where to find your channel again in case they don't want to go to this. Hit the link in the description.
Junkman, thank you again for having me. This is great. It's so much fun. I'm loving all the selections. Guys, you can check me out on Mega J Retro. Just look me up on YouTube, and don't forget to definitely check out. And if you haven't already, guys, subscribe to Junkman's channel. Great YouTuber. Love the nostalgia. Love the energy. I can't believe that episode with He-Man live action. That literally blew my mind. You've got to watch that episode. It's so great. Guys, definitely check out the Junkman's channel.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.